Well, could be louder. Trying to talk soft. Oh, don't do that. Load the battle save. So we're only gonna play for a little bit. We might not even finish this, but
thought you'd never ask. Chop chop!
Let's do it. Are you sure? Let's do it.
It is willed. Be swift.
I see, we gotta escape.
Interesting.
How can I help?
This will be quick.
Oh god.
Let's get going.
Whatever it takes.
Let's do it.
It's the problem. You don't really want to put her on a spike trap either.
Have fun!
I like you better over there. This will be quick.
Fresh as a daisy.
Effort duly rewarded.
Chop chop!
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Brace yourself!
Yeah, that was dumb.
I am here. I am here. Oh, all right. This will be quick. Oh, all right. I like you better over there.
How can I assist? How can I assist? Draw near to the light.
I am here. Be swift.
On the move. chop!
How can I help?
Alright, let's go, let's go.
I am here.
How can I help? My hard work is paying off.
I like you better over there.
My shield is yours.
Thought you'd never ask. Chop chop!
What would be?
That little, like, eagle hawk thing for the haste, it's really loud with my new headphones. Obviously, my voice is probably super loud, too,
I'd be honored.
unfortunately.
Whatever it takes. Brace yourself! Whatever it takes.
Interesting.
Oh, all right.
How can I assist?
I am here. Be swift.
I'd be honored. How can I help?
On the move.
Ah, there's some Tire 3 in there.
This should be fun. Thought you'd never ask.
Am I needed?
Interesting.
I'd be honored. I'd be honored.
It's too bad she can't phase this guy over.
I like you better over there.
My shield is yours.
How can I help? Lead the way.
love to move her there, but she get hit 1, 2, 3 times, potentially.
This will be quick.
Thought you'd never ask.
Be swift.
How can I assist?
Bottoms up! Fine by me.
My shield is yours.
Chop chop!
Let's do it.
So you kill him in 1 hit.
Oh, all right.
Diligence is its own reward.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
Grown is the shadow cast.
Lead the way.
Chop chop!
It is willed. Be swift.
Yeah, we don't have a key for that, so I don't know that we can get in there. We could have gone up and around, like here.
Brace yourself!
Lead the way.
Do not lose hope!
This game,
Very well.
sometimes it does weird things.
I am here.
Brace yourself!
Be swift.
This should be fun. Chop chop!
All yours.
I'd be honored.
Very well.
How can I assist? Do not lose hope!
Brace yourself!
Have fun! I am here. Be swift.
What'll it be?
So close. Next turn.
Chop chop!
Lead the way.
Interesting.
I guess.
Alright.
What can I say? I'm pretty great.
6 tire 1, 2 tire 2, 1 tire 3. I could see his damaged out. Ugh. It was a rough match. A lot of people who did nothing. Sia basically killed everything. Unless they're only counting half the match's stats, I'm not sure. They're only counting what we just did now? Or did they not count what we did earlier? I don't know. What on Terra was that stuff?
I must write that down.
Noxious gas, that much is clear. The stone was never meant to leave this place. Not without a fight, anyway. Speaking of the stone, let me have a look. Doesn't look like much of a compass. Yes, it holds the power to lead us to the Temple of Koli Shamash. How does it work? It likely warms or brightens as we near our destination. Something of that sort. Why don't you try moving about with it? Ha! Go quicker, Monroe. Left. Left. Try jumping. No luck. At least it's a good exercise.
Absurd.
This is ridiculous. I can't get it to do anything. What are we doing here in the heart of this jungle, an ocean away from the war that ravages our continent? We'd best return and leave this place all behind. I'm not going anywhere until we figure out how to use this thing. Stop. If we fight amongst ourselves, we only aid the necromancer. Remember what brought us here. Unless we stop those who would misuse the aspects, not one of us is safe. If the aspects fall into the wrong hands, no one in all of Tyrazil is safe.
No kidding.
That's right, Garrick. I didn't say that. No, but if you had, I would consider you wise.
Can it be?
Where's this coming from? Yes, the stone speaks. Or the compass, is it? Tell us, by what name do we know you? First, answer me this. Who sent you to me? The Order of the Eternals.
Actually,
What proof do you have of that? I serve as the ambassador for the moment. The priestess and I, we carry their sail. Indeed you do. Well then, you may call me Guide, as it seems that is the part I have to play in your story. Speak then, Guide. Where will we find the Trial of the Soul? The Temple of Koli Shamash? Return to the eastern shores of this land. The trial you seek can only be reached by the shore. You will need to find a ship. Finally, I think I'm starting to like this guy. And what then? Such impatience. What use would you have of that knowledge now? Besides, I'm wary. All that excitement in the temple was rather draining. Yes, I shall rest. When will he speak to us again? When it is needed. Now make haste. The necromancer you fear sounds quite close to accomplishing his goal. Well, we have what we came here for. At least for now, we should return to Inn's Hope. Very well. We can skirt the southern edge of the Weald. It is safer that way. Let's gather and be off. Irving, just remember what your father said. We aren't to. I know. Like a snake on a wicker basket. Right. Alright. In the Temple of Heleric, they find a group of cultists led by a strange reanimated warrior named Nal. They steal the relic and make their escape, finding out shortly after the stone they've stolen speaks. The stone instructs them that they must return to their ship and depart, as the trial of the soul is somewhere in the ocean. They make their journey, careful to be wary of the stone, as Alistair had warned. Now setting sail, they are given direction by the stone, who holds their lives in confidence. Assuming Ford doesn't shipwreck them along the way, they're headed to deep waters. Are we gonna get another ocean battle? That'd be cool. Well, now that we've done absolutely everything possible without further instruction, I was wondering if you received any more wisdom from your magical rock. Not a word. Fantastic. It's more than likely we're meant to be on the other side of the continent, when instead we've been off on this wild cockatrice chase. I think I'm starting to see why your father warned us about this guide. As such doubt, when I've done nothing but assist you, and no, you haven't done anything possible as far as I can tell. We're still anchored here. How does it know? At any rate, I think we would benefit from more instruction right about now. As you wish, your destination lies in the heart of the Shimmering Mist. Shimmering Mist? Your friend is quite attentive. Ford, do you know this place? I've known quite a few captains who set out for the Shivering Mist. Not any I've seen again. I'd always thought they'd gone a little sea crazy, the poor crew. Then it's dangerous. I've only heard stories, but I'd say so from the sound of them. High winds, low visibility, sharp volcanic rocks. Not much to go further than that place. I don't know, Irving, sounds like a trap. Please, what good does it do me to sink to the bottom of the ocean for the rest of eternity? You seem quite happy enough to sit in the temple for God's knows how long. Happy may not be the accurate description. I know it sounds frightening, but we've been through worse. Besides, what choice do we have? I gladly hear an alternative. And then we set sail for the Shimmering Mist. Ford, you would know how to take us there if you wanted to. I know the general direction. It's somewhere east of here. We should be able to see the mist a ways up, southeast. I'll not have you scouring the seas for flying clouds. As long as the stars appear in the sky, you will set sail and follow the constellation of the Slain Basilisk. If you stay the course, you will arrive at the mist in 3 days. Once we enter the mist, it'll lead you to the temple, but it will be imperative you do exactly as I say. Very well, how are we provisioned? Assuming shipwreck's not in the cards, we should have plenty to get us to Etlin. Good. Once the sun sets behind Varroa, we'll raise the anchor. In the meanwhile, take some time to rest and prepare. Only the gods know what lies ahead. I'll bet that damn rock knows what lies ahead, too. Alright. Hey, barmaid. What do you think you are? The name's Sia.
Relax.
I know, seemed like an easier way to get your attention. It worked. What do you want? I've been wanting to ask you about Duskwater. I don't think I've ever mentioned Duskwater. Yeah, I asked Bianca.
Aren't you clever?
Of course you did. What do you want to know?
Well,
Honestly, anything you're willing to tell me. I grew up with nothing at all. I was an orphan, and where the coins flipped differently, I may have stayed in the desert. Jeez, that's awful. Yeah, but that isn't the point. I was sold this idea that Aramorans and Delians are so different. That was what got me into fighting. I'm starting to see that there really isn't much difference between us. Black Abyss, I mean, our two towns would be in the same kingdom if you just moved them both up 100 miles. I guess that's true. I don't know, I've never thought much about Aramor. I was surprisingly busy with helping my parents run the inn. What was it called? The Doddering Bandit. Sorta dumb, but it stuck. Check 1 for similarities. Inn names are ridiculous in Aramor too. Although I think it's like that everywhere. How could it not be? No one wants to stay in some dreary place. Inns should be lively. Fair point. Let's see. What to even ask about? I know this may seem strange to you, but I genuinely never learned anything positive about Delians. Hate to say it, but it sounds like you barely learned much either way, if what you were told was intended to spur you to violence. Fair point again. Sorry to start this conversation this way. I've just been set in my ways. Pretty long up until now. It's my nature to love, not to fight. I don't know how I got it all caught up in it. Something you see, serving a town that knows its share of mercenaries. Fighting is an easy thing to get into. Easiest thing in the world, really. Getting out, that's hard. You managed to stuff a lot of wisdom in a little barmaid. Yeah, I've seen more heartbreak and ruin than I care to admit. Even now, you've jumped from fighting to fighting. At least for now, there's a cause. We think that now, everyone fighting does. We won't know whether it was really true until it's too late. You have a marvelous hand-eye coordination, Sia. Gee, thanks. That's not the compliment gals like me normally get about their hands. Gals like you, I find this troubling.
This is fun.
Oh, I'm just poking fun. You know as well as I do that fun is often thinly veiled truth. I'm not sure I do. Then one day you might tell me how you would describe gals like you.
See it now?
Barmaids, serving girls, gorgeous young folk?
Aren't you clever?
And yet here we are, for something greater than ourselves. You are no barmaid. Are you no longer a monk because you left the monastery? A monk and a barmaid are two different things. One's an occupation, the other is a state of being. That seems overly generous on your point of view, don't you think? Being a barmaid consumes my daily routine and thoughts. Now, I don't have to do any serving. You don't have to do any monking. That doesn't mean I don't think about it, nor does it the same for you. This is worth consideration. I must admit the quality of your argument makes it increasingly difficult for me to agree with you. I think I must have some subconscious bias towards serving folk. Everyone does. You're a sweetheart, and I can tell there are 1,000 thoughts swirling up in that head of yours at any given time. But only a serving girl knows a serving girl. I see. Alright, who did Irving get? Elias? All that stuff about ancient Elvish and the riddle on the walls of the temple? How did you know all that?
Certainly.
I've devoted a great deal of time to archaic linguistics, the way people communicate, the stories and the legends that persist in a culture's collective consciousness. These things fascinate me. Wow, that's wow. Someday I hope I'll be as wise as you.
Diligence is its own reward.
Knowledge comes with study, but wisdom only comes with time and reflection.
Wow.
How'd you reflect? I find it helps to keep a journal. Maybe I should do that too. What do you write in your journal? Poems, riddles? Occasionally. My thoughts and my memories mostly. Try to write things down as soon as they happen with as many vivid details as possible. Sometimes when I read my earlier entries, I hardly recognize the elf I used to be. So you've changed a lot. I have, and you'll find that you will too. That's good to hear.
I'm sure of it.
Sometimes it feels like I'm playing catch-up with everybody else. Or things go right over my head. I don't want to be a burden on anyone, especially not my sister.
Come again?
Alden, don't be ridiculous. You've made a significant contribution since your trial at Brookstead. That's more than most of us can say. I guess you're right. Keep your chin up, lad. Hone your strengths. And guard against your weaknesses. You'll find it's all worth it. Trust me. Okay. Let's get Garrick going. I can't believe you stood up for our tea date, Garrick. That wasn't very gentlemanly of you. Gods, I forgot.
No.
No, you didn't. You were just spending too much time at Sia to remember.
Right.
Ugh, guilty as charged, I guess. I get it. She's fun and I'm intimidating. It's alright. I wasn't looking for something anyway. That's glad to hear. I didn't want to hurt your feelings. My feelings? Back this up for a second. I'm supposed to hurt your feelings, not the other way around.
Great.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, come on.
You're just a little heartbreaker, aren't you?
Joke.
I didn't even do anything. You're trying to woo me. I was trying to be funny. What does a tea date have to do with wooing? I've been on 100 tea dates. As have I, all with the intent of wooing. Sounds like a you problem. I just happen to really like tea. We both know that's a falsehood. What did you learn so much about me then, huh? I do my research. This is on you, Garrick, not me. You were disinterested and you lost your chance. I'm sorry.
Guess I'll state the obvious.
I was not
Are
disinterested.
you sure?
Maybe you should have acted interested. Insufferable. That's an A rank, so is that it? Can she not get any more A ranks? I don't know. Let's save over an old save just for the heck of it. When we entered the temple in the Weald, did you feel sick? I felt stifled, as if from the humid air, but there was something far more oppressive at the root of it. Yes, precisely. When the poison was released, I hardly noticed a change. I was already nauseous. I knew I couldn't have been the only one who felt that way. I had to be sure. What do you make of it? Well, the guide is the obvious source.
Perhaps.
Can you decipher anything about the guide? The closer I get to the guide, the stranger I feel. When I close my eyes around it, I think I see the features of a face. So he sees the features of a face on the guidebook. Though I can't be sure if I'm really seeing something or if it's just my imagination. What does the face look like? It's ancient, but young at the same time. Its eyes are closed, but it seems to be speaking. Is it human? Elven? Difficult to say. I just see a face. For all we know, it could be my imagination. Could be. I only hope our concerns about it stem from our imagination.
Hold on.
Our concerns can't entirely be because of that. At least it's not a hypothesis that can coexist with the warning your father gave us. No, you're right, but it's possible that the worst outcome has already been avoided. Let's hope that's the case. You have a gift for soul magic, Elias. So I've been told. That's a blessing that comes at a great price. I'm sure the gods will require it of you time and again before the day's done. Then may I use it honorably for the good of us all. I trust you will. You know, Samara, I was thinking. No surprise there.
I must write that down.
It's rather fitting that you came across Elias's light when you did, what with your proclivity for healing magic and all. It would still be gathering dust in the corner of Aramorian treasury if it weren't for your research. And your sister's curiosity, lest you forget. If I remember correctly, she was equally curious about ancient cat droppings. What'd you call them? Ah yes, the petrified feline excrement. Not an uncommon treasure, actually. Many believe it to be of great medicinal value. I'll take your word for it, as is your right. But it's true, all of the aspects have been a divine boon.
Certainly.
Quite still, so. I still remember first learning to wield Elias's light. Ellis's light. Ellis's light had the power, its power had to be wooed, almost, coaxed out of its shell like a frightened animal. And then it floats so freely, like water. That's rather poetic. I'll write that down.
If you say so.
Of course you will. Truly, Samara, you and your sister couldn't have given me a more fascinating object of study. Nor a more important one for a time, I think.
You've done well.
I expect you're right. You really travel all the way just to face Orima's trial?
That's right.
I did. That's quite a distance. It was, you are like him, no?
Perhaps.
An adept, yes, but I wouldn't be so proud to say the similarities extend beyond that. He's a much greater fighter than I am. Not long ago, I had seen adepts at a distance. Now I fight alongside two. More than two. Bianca, for instance. I did not know.
I'm with you.
I didn't either until we began to share our stories. Were they similar? In some ways, though not in others. Adepts are regarded differently in each of our homelands. Tell me, how did they treat adepts in Naja? With reverence. Interesting. Orima said something about similar about Aramor. But in Naja, they are not fighters, they are artists. The most famous actors in Hao Fo's theater are almost exclusively adepts. Is that so? Sounds dangerous.
See it now?
Precautions are taken to keep audiences at a safe distance. Their innate abilities do much to express their emotions of their character. I would imagine. I think that's something I'd like to see. And perhaps you will. She's got one more. Vesta. It's good to be in the company of another woman of faith. It seems we both heard higher calls and followed them along different paths. I suppose that's true. Where did you discern? Based on your dress, I guess, Wushang? But I'm not familiar with all the monasteries.
That's right.
You're correct. It seems you're well acquainted with the Silent Way. I grew up on Varroa. My father conducted archival research for various faith traditions in Foldaban, but there was a temple in the city. Have you visited the Tranquil Isle?
I'm afraid not.
No, but I did have occasion to meet the patient mother once when I was very little. She had a peace about her that struck
The
me.
silent guide.
Such a peace can only come through silence. There's something to be said for that. There's an awful lot of noise these days, no thanks to the war. Indeed, it seems a pity that one man's pride should cost so many
Agreed.
lives. Certainly. What was it like? The Tranquil Isle, I mean. Beautiful. My thoughts often dwell on it. I think often of my home myself. The places I miss, friends, family. Do you still have family in Varroa? Not any worth missing. I see. Well, on the bright side, I imagine that left you somewhat free to pursue your vocation.
Failure is a great teacher.
She who comes to see trial, as gift finds riches beyond measure. No small task. Maybe you could teach me how you do it. I have plenty to learn myself. I'm not sure whatever changes. I don't believe it does. Sarah, does being out in the wild ever remind you of the gardens? All the time. Me too. I miss the gardens, the gentle waterfalls, the emerald parakeets chirping away in the willows. I miss the quiet. Samara, you hate the gardens.
No!
Sorry, Sarah, that would be incorrect. I hated not being allowed to leave the gardens. That didn't last long anyway. Thanks to me. Yes, thanks to you. You're absolutely impossible. No sneaking out unnoticed was impossible. Supposedly, which is exactly why I had to do it. I think you've proven my case.
Are you sure?
Let's not forget the part you played, convincing Mother to secure us more freedom. That's my big sis, ever the diplomat. Half-sister. Maybe, but it's clear we both inherited the stubborn half.
Surely not.
I prefer to say persistent. There's that diplomacy again. Are you capable of giving it a rest when you talk to your sister? Forgive me, your half-sister. I think we both know the answer to that. That's right, yes, you're more than capable. And here, I'd almost forgotten. Had you? What a pleasant thought. Do you hang on to that dream? Sure will. One more conversation. Hey, Benji, do you mind if I ask you something? What's it about?
Well...
About you.
Alright.
Sweet, I love talking about me. Great, I was just wondering. Oh, is this silly? Go ahead, ask away. How strong are you? I mean, have you ever actually measured it? This is a great question, and not at all embarrassing. I've been asked that many times. Well, I can tell you this. At the time when we left Red Hill, I knew I was the strongest man for miles around. And that was proven fact. How'd you prove it? We've had several contests over the years. At my peak, no one's ever come close to me. Wow, that's really impressive.
Hey, thanks.
Tell me about it. You want to hear a little story? Sure, I love stories. Once on our farm, one of our oxen died while we were tilling the fields. That's terrible. Yeah, it was not a pretty sight. Anyway, I carried the little oxen off to the side, put on the yoke, and finished tilling the field all by myself. I'm just trying to picture that in my head. I mean, not in a weird way or anything. Oh, how much was there left to do? About half. Half? By the gods, Benji, that must have been insanely hard. Oh yeah, totally. Well, not for me, of course, because of my training and everything. But for most people, yeah, it would have been basically impossible.
Alright.
Glad to hear it. Let me know if you have any more questions. Okay, we gotta do the upgrades. So we got 2 Tier 2s and 1 Tier 3. See, it's so good. I wanna, like, just keep increasing her stuff. And the weight's 0. That's important. The weight is nothing. Okay, that's one of our Tier 2s. I think we should upgrade Sia with the 3. I think we should just make her an ultimate unit. I could upgrade that. That's not bad. Alright, now we have a bunch of Tier 1s, so... Yeah, he's still on Tier 1. Brooke, I could upgrade some of her other Tier 1 skills. I could hold on to them, because we might pick up more characters later that we want to use. Oh, I forgot to check the bond menu to see who ships with who. Great waves. That was a close call. Too close. Old Humpback's not cut out for this. I thought our guide was supposed to be helpful. I'll admit, I may have miscalculated my estimation of his competence for a captain. There you go again. Thank you. Wait a minute. Hold on, I see something up ahead. That must be it. Stop the ship. Lower the sails. Aye aye, Captain. Huh. I've always wanted to say that. Look at that thing, it's massive. Is this the temple we seek? Yes, you will do well to drop the anchor here before the ship gets too close. I'll drop my anchor wherever I please, thank you very much. Drop the anchor quickly. If this is it, what now? I have brought you here, have I not? I could not take the trial for you. So then the trial has begun. Can you tell us nothing of it? Since you insist, I will share only what was shared with me. The trial of the soul is comprised of 3 parts: mind, body, and spirit tests. The test of body is a fight unlike anything you've experienced. The only enemies you will face are the ones you take with you. The enemies we take with us. I've said what I will. Well, no point in stopping now, Irving. Come on, let's hop in the dinghies and have a look. So you're gonna fight enemies that are just like you? Something like that? Phew. I've been around the whole perimeter, but not so much as a crevice, let alone any trace of an entrance. Strange. Benji, any luck on your end, strategy?
Smash!
No. No matter how hard I smash, the walls won't budge. I'll take that as a hard no. It's writing. The holes in the walls, if you connect them, they form letters. How do you figure that one? The walls of the monastery had similar markings.
Brilliant!
Brilliant. Yes, she's right. They do form letters. Characters in pre-calamity Elvish, to be precise. Sun Elvish, probably. Actually, the elves shared a common language before the calamity, though it's hard to imagine now. It's quite different from our own tongue, but I should be able to translate it. Just a moment. Boy, I'm lucky to have you guys here. I never would have figured that out. I think it's kind of riddle. What does it say? Power is a seed. To yield a fruitful harvest, power it must be, then it trails off. There's no punctuation, so the latter part must be missing. You go ahead and analyze that punctuation, Corvin. Let the real brains in the group think about solutions. Presumably it rhymes in its completed form, in ancient Elvish, of course. I can translate different words to see if the ending's letters match. As seed, planted, watered. Far too simple. Perhaps soaked or germinated? No, I don't think any of those words would have sounded similar. Well, let's think on a farm. A shovel, cow, farmers, a field.
You're really something.
There are farmers on a farm. Yes, a remarkable insight, Sophia. A field. The letters at the end match exactly with the word for harvest, although another should have come before it. Not bad. Sow in a field, throw in a field. What do we have, you ancient scholar types, here for anyway? Go do your thing. No, those words are too short. It wouldn't fit the meter.
Done well.
Scattered a field. Let me see. Why, yes, that meter fits perfectly. That's it. So what now? What do we do with it? Well, I've never actually tried to speak the language. Come to think of it, I don't think I've ever heard anyone speak it. I wouldn't know where to begin. Irving, take me closer to the walls. The only enemies are the ones you bring with you. Is this an idea of a joke? I don't think I like how it's looking at me. You think we can make friends with them? I think that's the last thing they want. Worth a shot, though. We don't want to fight. You need not express your wants in this place. We have your soul. You must fight, and so you will. Can't say that isn't creepy. There is no reason to delay. Time is not on your side. This much weighs heavily on your souls. Right, looks like we have no choice. Leave it to you to keep pushing forward, even in a ghost form. Garrick, son of Galen, you are stronger than you allow yourself to know. Marin, the voice of comfort, in all of your efforts, you've always been enough. Alden, a hero before your time. You need not try to measure up, for you already do. Irving, bound by blood, your conviction will hold you steady when you fear to break. Such resolve has not touched this place in a millennia. The challenge is cast onwards to your fate. So we have to kill Marin first, if this is the group. If it's this group. Do we get some prep time? Oh, okay. We can take multiple people with us. And our enemies will be our doppelgangers, right? Alright, we need to see, Alden... I guess? I don't know. This is hard. Sarah's a worthless unit, but she might get killed. Bianca... This is hard. Brooke's gonna die again. Do we want priestesses? You know, like... Do we want healers on the field? I feel like we don't. Unless they don't attack, you know? Unless they only attack. I don't know. Oh, we saved over this, didn't we? Oh well. Yeah, she should be... I don't know. Off to the side? Up front? I don't know. It's gonna be hard because she's gonna be right there. Villanelle? Yeah, I think having him and, like... You there could help. She's pretty useless, so I think that's probably a good spot to put her. Alright, let's see how this group does. As you can see, we are on flipped sides, so I should have thought about that. It would have been all too easy.
I will.
She can't quite push her.
Brace yourself. Chop chop.
Oh, all right.
Off you go.
I like you better over there. This will be quick.
Are you sure? Let's do it.
I don't know, we'll use this as a trial run. Hopefully we saved. Hopefully we saved. I know we saved.
So it shall be. As you command.
Run like the wind! Whatever you need.
Ow. Haha. You gonna die?
Guess my shift is over.
Her strength went down. So I might have to redo the battle. She held up surprisingly well.
Very well. Very well.
Whatever you need.
Very well.
Quickly and quietly.
Interesting.
Leave it to me. Off you go.
I will.
My turn!
There's beauty in your skill.
Am I needed?
Impressive.
I can be better than this. Oh, all right.
Whatever you need. Here to help. My turn! My turn! Run like the wind!
Quickly and quietly. Sharp skills, full pockets.
Whatever you need.
All yours.
I like you better over there.
Sure bungled this
I
one.
was careless.
Guess I wasn't ready. That's promising.
Who could kill her?
My turn! I feel stronger. Do I look stronger? Here to help. Whatever you need. Whatever you need.
In position.
Chance to hit is so high,
Can do.
too. And Howard can kill Sia.
In position.
Onward.
You kidding me? How did he not?
total downer.
Be swift.
So it shall be.
This will be quick.
So it shall be.
Nice. He got a crit.
Most unfortunate.
Wow. He missed an 89% chance to hit attack.
Didn't see that coming.
How are you living, Sophie?
My turn!
How is she living?
Interesting.
Nine left. How'd you miss that?
Ow! That hurt!
It is willed. I am here. Be swift.
This will be quick. All yours.
Kill my doppelganger, or...
Oh, all right. It's a shame. You're so cute.
Onward.
Nice.
Experience.
What can I say? I'm pretty great.
See, it was the MVP and she died. That was certainly a quick battle. That was unexpected. Alright, so that was unexpected. We did it. I'm no arithmetician, but 2 parts down means there's 1 part to go, and I doubt this giant door is here by accident. Let's check it out. Hold up. Only one should enter the inner sanctum alone. With myself, of course. The trials are originally designed to be faced one at a time. Who do you propose that should be? Not for me to decide. Alright, most of us feel who should do this trial is you. Really, I'm not sure that makes sense. One roundabout way or another, all of us ended up together because of you. Besides, it was your father's idea to send us here. His faith in us is what convinced him, his faith in you is what convinced him to continue to trust us with the aspects. It seems to me, you give us our best chance. Does anybody object?
Well, what do you know?
Here's your vote. Seems your friends have made their choice, Irving. Alright, so they have. Wish me luck. You won't need luck. A bright flame illuminates the walls of this sanctum. It has lain in darkness for many years. To see these walls again stirs something in me. Silence, anchored one. I know why you have come. It is not you with whom I wish to speak. Tell me, bright flame, what brings you to this place? A guest enters my home, and ask that I make an account of myself. I'm Kuli Smash. Once revered in this place, now my Terrazelian aspect rests. The god of the soul. I see you're acquainted with my domain. Now I would ask to know more of you. Forgive my brashness. My name is Irving. Coeli Smash. It is pleasant to know what you are called, but the soul seeks more than a man than his name. That may be. I was sent here on behalf of the Order of the Eternals. We hope to protect the aspects from one who would use them for ill. Yes, such faith the Order has in its cause and its agents. I hope that faith is not misplaced. As do I. I was informed that if I passed your trials, I might receive something special that would aid our quest. Supplies, or perhaps a weapon of some sort? Indeed, you might. Tell me, who are these who stand so nervously behind the threshold? They are soldiers, I suppose. Great fighters from many corners of Terra. Foiling the plot of the nefarious aspect thief has become our only purpose. I see. They're each of them quite powerful. It's true, each brings something unique to the whole. What if you learned that I could grant all of you power? I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean. No longer would the mighty Irving, heir of House Sildarian, fight to win the approval of his own troops, coordinate their movements, or inspire them to courage. His will would be indomitable, subsumed by all who look upon him with admiration in their heart. At what cost? What you ask is wise. A fine boon comes at a high price. Such a transference of power would cost them their mortal soul. I would not think anything of it. And if it was the only way to prevent the disaster you fear, still I couldn't. Besides, I don't see how that would be the case. They become so much of why I want to stop this necromancer in the first place. They're my friends. Why, you should have said so. You called them soldiers, if you remember. Perhaps I was wrong too. To err is mortal. But to acknowledge this and grow, that's divine. These friends of yours, do you lead them by love, fear, promise of gold? Trust, I think. Though, if I'm being honest, I'm not sure I understand it. Their loyalty humbles you. I guess I'm not as convinced as they are that I know what's right, or that I always will. They need not believe that you are right, nor need you to be right. Your thoughts search for justice as one I've seen before, but justice does not reside in the mind. A sandglass may tell time, but not the weather. Be that as it may, I fear our time is short, but you have to present me your gift. Yes, the stone which has guided you to me. It has traveled many leagues and years to come to rest in this place. Set it on my altar. You have my thanks. Storage received, a trove of eternal aspects. The members of your order who entrusted these to me have passed them along, have passed from this world long ago. Now it seems they're safest and most useful with you. But what of the third trial? I was told there'd be 3 trials. All 3 trials you have passed, bright flame, and with such sincerity, such as I have never seen. Which is why I entrust you with this Excuse me, I need a little water. This is why I entrust you with this aspect. Now go and leave me with this troubled one. There are stirrings in Asterolis I could use his bleak thoughts on. At last, Irving. These aspects may aid you, but they cannot save you or your friends. Only you can do that. Such wisdom. And how many empires rose and fell while you thought up those words? I've discovered much in my solitude, Coeli. Then we have much to discuss. Farewell, bright flame. Take care in your conquest. Continue your search for righteousness, as if Terrazel itself depended on it. Perhaps it does. Yes, perhaps it does. Talking to a god. One can hardly believe it. This is the stuff of legend.
Take heart.
Well, I believe it when I see it, and I'm looking at more aspects than I ever knew existed.
Definitely.
Epic. It's gonna take some time to figure out what each of these are capable
Sure
of.
thing.
Well, we got no shortage of that. It'll be a while before we make landfall on Etlin. That's assuming we can get out of the mist without our guide. Did you really have to leave it behind?
Yes.
Yes, it seemed Koali Samash had some other purpose for it. What that might be, I couldn't say.
Uh-huh.
Honestly, can't say I'm too mad about it. That guy was making me nervous anyway. I think I might have to agree. Wait a minute. How did you get here? Oh, on the ship? And just how exactly did you sneak onto my ship? In one of your barrels. You don't exactly have the strictest security detail. You free-riding rat. I should have thrown you overboard.
Jeez.
Okay, Captain Tough. Maybe if you actually shipped any goods, I wouldn't have had so much free real estate to choose from.
Look, kid.
I think maybe we should leave these two to settle it themselves. Okay. A lot of people died in that last one. So... good to be out of the mist, isn't it? Definitely. Clear skies seem to have forward on a mum a little bit, which I think everyone is appreciating. How are you holding up? Enough. Well enough, all things considered. Good to hear. You've been through a lot these past few months. Weeks. More than I signed up for when I enrolled at the academy, that's for sure. But that's always how it is, isn't it?
What?
What do you mean? I was never like that before. No, but in all the stories I've ever read growing up, a good hero always gets more than he bargains for. I guess, but in stories you always know the hero can handle...
Hardly.
Not necessarily. Did you ever study the great Sun Elf tragedies at the academy? So my story is a tragedy. That's reassuring. No. Life is different, of course. More like being the author and the main character at the same time. I hardly feel that in control of anything. Fine, maybe it's more like being one of the several authors. Do you think he knows we're coming? The Necromancer? Whoever that was on the battlefield. I think he expects to see you again, and I think he'll be better prepared.
No kidding.
I think so too. In fact, I'm sure of it, though I can't quite explain why. Well then, the only thing is to be more prepared for him than he is for us. Your father would be proud. I am flattered to hear those words from your mouth. That's probably as close to approval as I'll get. That's not true and you know it. Perhaps it seems we could both benefit from giving ourselves a little more credit for our accomplishments. Maybe. Well, I think I'm gonna turn in. Ford needs me on the deck bright and early tomorrow. Who's in the background there? Oh, it's probably, yeah. It looks like it's maybe Sia and... what's his name? Sounds good, and Garrick, I just want to tell you, I'm really grateful you're still here after everything. You know, I get these moments sometimes that make me feel like the four of us are right back at the academy. Like nothing's changed. I know what you mean. I wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't either. Well, I'll leave you to the view. Beautiful, isn't it? But don't stare too long. I wouldn't want you to wake up and find out you've fallen overboard to be captured by a wandering Alether. Didn't you say you were turning in? Right. Bond time? Bond time? Would you look at that? The priestess lady finally looks up from her rocks to take in the sea. You really are the worst, Ford. What are you still around, what are you still around for anyway? Weren't you gonna use us to extort your debtors and be off? Yeah, well, the financing from your beloved order should just about cover it. Besides, I think you guys are starting to like having me around. Wouldn't want to make anybody sad. No, just irritated apparently. Only you, your holiness. Ugh. Oi, look, dolphins. See, they breach one after another. I read once that this sometimes inspires sailor stories of sea serpents. Trust me, when you've seen the real thing, you can tell the difference. Wow, I've never seen anything like that. They're majestic. What in the world is this? That appears to be avian excrement. Accursed birds. Ha, that must be bad news for the rogue, but it's good news for us. We can't be too far from shore. How do you reckon? With winds like this, not much more than a day. Sarah, you sure you guys will take good care of old Humpback? It seems like we might be gone a while. I couldn't live with myself if anything happened to old Humpback. Your ship will be safe at Aramore. You have my word for it. I just wish Aramore wasn't so far from Kirch. It'll be 3 weeks before we get there. Weeks before we get there. On the bright side, that's less than what we've spent on the ship. It's just traveling on foot like criminals, it's completely different. It is, but it's important. My contact would help us get to the bottom of who's behind all this. I know. Nothing beats the sea, Huckett. We won't be fugitives forever, Alden. Once we've secured the aspects and stopped whatever is afoot, all of Delia will know we're done what we've done. They'll understand. If by you, you mean Varric, I think he'd develop a sudden inclination for mercy if he's still king after all this. We'll see. In the depths of Koa Sumesh's temple, Irving meets the god himself. After passing the trial of the soul, Koa Sumesh entrusts Irving with the power of a huge trove of aspects. The party departs from the mist safely, heading back to Outland. After the ardor of their voyage to Varroa, spirits are low. Each knows that the journey lay ahead of them. A difficult journey lay ahead of them. They head for Kirch, where Vesta has an order contact who can set them up and give them the lay of the land. For some inexplicable reason, Faust continues to follow along. The prodigal priestess returns. Good to see you, Vesta. And you, Irene. I thought the circumstances were different.
Wow.
Comes to the territory. Tavern chatter says you and your friends here set off across the sea. Never to return, I would hope. Depends on who you ask. Would you mind introducing yourselves? I feel like a rat in a steam house. I'm Irving Silderane of Brookstead. Maeve Leveron, Grand Inquisitor of the Mystic Council of the Expanse. Lincoln Valdezalv, former captain of the Delian Army. Sarah Roan, third in line for the Aramoran throne.
Wait.
The grandson of the Order's Grandmaster, right-hand of Delia's former commander, the likely Queen of Aramor, and the Mystic Council's favorite Inquisitor. That about covers it? Favorite is a stretch, but you're correct for the most part. I was hoping you could catch us up on what we've missed in our absence. You might as well get comfortable then. I've been doing my best to track the one who you had warned me about before your departure. The Necromancer.
Hard to be sure.
With him, well, him too. Turns out there's a lot of shadowy figures traipsing about Delia these days, causing havoc. The strangest thing is that everything worth tracking seems to operate out of Sojourn. It means one of three things. Either Varric's spies haven't noticed, haven't been able to stop it, or have been told not to stop it. I know Varric, if he caught wind of an unchecked conspiracy, he'd be tearing the country apart, piece by piece, to root it up. Well, he is. I'm not sure the two are related. What do you mean? He's been accelerating timelines and work schedules for every construction project in Delia, most notably the aqueducts. That's cruel. The purpose of a king is to protect his people, not to use them to advance his own glory. You met the man, Irving. He's not who he once was. Please continue, Irene. Thousands of others who feel as Irving have been imprisoned or indentured. They're reopening rural prisons that haven't been touched in decades. It's worse than we thought, especially for common folk. It seems nobody's safe from Varric's wrath. That much is certain. The entire country is the tipping point. I wish I had more information for you, but I can't find so much as a word on the Necromancer. What of the other sorcerer, the one who wiped out the armies at Swift Harbor? Every scrap of intel on the day points back to your group. Were you not responsible? No, we were not. That's quite troubling. Back to square one, then. What other news of the war? Stalled for the moment. Neither king seems in a particular hurry to lose the other half of their army. I never imagined it would come to this, but King Varric strikes me as the most promising lead at the moment. It's unlike him to investigate these occurrences. Possible he's working with the sorcerer, or the Necromancer, or both. What about this prodigy you mentioned back in Chelobons? Care to elaborate? I wouldn't know how to, and considering I certainly wouldn't be authorized to if I did. It's not important, Lincoln. Not right now. We're going to have to go through Varric to get to whoever's behind this either way. Might as well make our peace with that. Irving's right. Right now, that whatever Maeve knows about this prodigy doesn't matter until we're ready for it. How do we get started? First things first, we'll need a base of operations so we can sort out the rest from there. Any suggestions, Lincoln? You know better than anyone where Varric's men would be looking for us. I do know one place they dare not go. It's not far from here, actually. The Marrows? You know of it. You know it's best not to discuss it until we arrive. We'll scare everyone half to death, unless you have an alternative suggestion. Nope. You're already scaring me, Lincoln, but it seems I have little choice. I'll trust your judgment. Irene, thanks for your diligence. Your service does you great justice. Honor is nice, but it won't put me up in the Platinum Pony. You'll receive your payment from the Order soon enough. In the meantime, leave no stone unturned.
Farewell.
I'll do whatever I can. Farewell. Hopefully we'll meet again. I wonder if this game has some kind of, like, New Game Plus mode. Alright. So we can give some people aspects. She almost never doubles, though. I should trade that. Look at all these aspects. Does Alden seriously not have an aspect? Really, Alden? Someone that's already bad at dodging should get the Jono stupor. He doubles a lot, so that could be good. Let's see what bonds we ended up getting. Irving and Sia. I mean, Garrick and Sia. Irving and Sloane. That's a good one. Maybe we'll watch that one. Let's save. We can rewatch it. But I'm just curious. You know, I could really see the appeal in a man who communes with the gods themselves. Could have been any one of us.
Guess I'll state the obvious.
I hope you'll excuse me if I don't believe Benji would have answered everything the right way. You never know. Say what you will about Benji, the guy keeps on winning. If you're referring to corn husking competitions and the measurement of brute force, yes. Benji wins more than anyone I've ever met. Did you come by for something, or was that it? Just wanted to give me the one-liner? I'll admit, sometimes I don't come in with more of a plan than the one-liner. You got me. You don't believe that any more than I do. Gods, help me. I've been seen through. Ah, the pure abject horror. Alright, settle down. Can you just level me for once? What did you come by for? Not entirely sure, to be honest. I guess I'm curious about what it was like. The presence of Kueli Smash, I mean. Truthfully, all the stories of this presence, or aura, I still don't know exactly what I was seeing in there, but I felt neither of those things.
Oh, come on.
That's anticlimactic. Don't get me wrong, it was exhilarating, terrifying, incredible. A whole mix of emotions. But it was just a voice. I don't think he was really there, you know? Maybe that's just what the gods are. Maybe there is no presence. I highly doubt the stories we were told as children about the gods are accurate. Maybe. Try not to dwell on it too much. It couldn't have been any of us, for the record.
You're not half bad.
You're the best of us, Irving. You may not want to hear that, but it's true. You hold the torch. We should get some rest. Was that strange for you, passing through Aramor again, after all we've been through? Many words come to mind before strange, but yes, I suppose it was. What does come to mind? Sobering, I think. A reminder of all we stand to lose, and all that's already lost. You speaking of Alaris? Yes. I saw it too, when we were crossing the border.
Of course.
Hard to miss. I used to think the stories were exaggerated. Stories often are. But this one wasn't. I can only guess the city once had structures, because some of the piles of soot and debris are larger than others. Don't let yourself forget what you saw, Irving. Someday you may find it useful to remember the kind of destruction people are capable of. I just can't believe anyone can look at those ashes and feel proud of what they've done. I don't imagine anybody does. If I had to guess, I'd say there's not a soul out there who feels remotely responsible on a personal level. Not even Varric. That's what can come of the wrong type of obedience. I don't know that I'll see it restored to its former glory in my lifetime. Does King Darius have no plans to rebuild? I wouldn't expect so. At least not before some kind of armistice is established. No use in setting up walls only for others to come and knock him down. Makes sense. Had you ever been? Before, I mean? I had, several times with my family. It was a rich and vibrant place. Its great hall of history, I could still hear our tutor teaching about it, now constructed by the removed architect Enthos the Magnificent, to commemorate the founding of the hub of trade. Sounds quite impressive. It was. The windows were all designed to cast a shadow on the floor, and the walls which told the story of the city's founding. As the sun's path changed with the seasons, new parts of the scenes were revealed. Any chance a part of that still stands in the rubble? Perhaps a slim one. It was likely the sturdiest building for miles around, but even so I'm sure the damage is immense. From what I understand, the city was built by Delians and Aramorans alike, wasn't it? Yep. Then maybe Delians and Aramorans can join hands once more for the reconstruction. If peace comes soon enough, who knows? Perhaps we might walk in the streets again someday. That's a pleasant thought, Irving. I'll try and hold on to that. Okay, that's all for now. See ya.